Hey guys, Drifter here. Today I want to talk to you about the state of Warzone, and unfortunately in order to do that, I'm going to have to be pretty negative. I don't like being negative, I like being a very positive channel, but today I'm negative because I care. I genuinely care about Warzone as a game. It's one of my favorite COD games of all time, and I care about the people playing it. We're going to keep our criticism specific to the game and not the developers or the specific people developing the game, because our community likes to jump the shark and go harass people in real life, and I never want to be one of those creators that encourages such irresponsible harassment. Warzone is in a far worse state now than when it originally launched. I, as a YouTuber, want to make Warzone guides. Even if nothing else but for my own greedy YouTube money reasons, I would rather play Warzone than Cold War. It's more fun to me. But recently, I just can't stomach playing it, and the same is true of a lot of my other content creator friends. A lot of streamers and other creators I know just can't make themselves play Warzone, which is a shame because, as I said before, this is my favorite COD product of the last 5 or 6 years, if not maybe ever. Warzone has everything that I want from Call of Duty and everything that I want from a battle royale. Even being a year old, it still does things that I think are fun, refreshing, and just joyful to play when the game is working properly. So the reasons that I don't want to play Warzone right now are essentially the topic of today's video. The first reason is that the Black Ops Cold War Warzone integration was totally botched, and that's being polite. The integration introduced one mini Royale map, which I'm personally am not a fan of, even though I know some people like Rebirth and Alcatraz and stuff, that's fine. But introducing the map and the weapons also introduced a metric ton of bugs to the game. Invisibility, invincibility, under the map, invisible vehicles, infinite stims, care package freezing you, all sorts of weapons are bugged. Dude, the weapons, we're going to be talking a lot about weapons today. Those weapons are completely screwed up, not just overpowered, but actually literally bugged going into the game. So let's go ahead and start talking about the weapons first, because I'm sure you all want to hear about the DMR zone. The DMR is the dominant weapon by probably like 80-90% of people I run into are using it, and the nerf on this weapon was a joke. We sat here for a month, maybe not a whole month, maybe 2 or 3 weeks, because it took a while to figure it out, saying that this weapon was really, really strong, and they nerfed it so that it can't 2-shot to the head anymore, which is a good start, but now it's 3 to the head or 4 shots to the body. So instead of going for headshots now, for the most part, I just spam like crazy on the body and it works just fine. Still has an amazing time to kill and range, still super easy to use. If a whole team is using DMRs and you peek them, you can die what feels like almost instantly. You just get wiped from right off the face of the earth. It's very scary, and often from ranges that you can't even see them because the ballistics are so good, or there's no scope glint, or the scopes are bugged, which is something else that we have to talk about. Interestingly, the nerf actually lowered the recoil on the DMR for some reason, which makes it even easier to use and just spam for body shots. Before the nerf, it was really scary to get 2-shot headshotted, but somebody had to earn it, even if the recoil was relatively low. But now that the recoil is lower and the goal is body shots, it's just click as fast as you possibly can, or spam those triggers and just spam people into the ground. And it's stupidly easy. There aren't many weapons that truly compete with the DMR, not only at long range, but even at medium ranges, so I feel like I kind of have to use it. With the DMR-14, I can counter snipe, counter AR, counter tactical rifle, can even dump truck some SMG users that don't push me very effectively. And when I'm playing Warzone, I either get killed by or get killed with the DMR in the majority of my fights. It makes me feel like I'm playing Counter-Strike, where it's an endless AK battle, and it's not the sort of a riotous fun content that I like to think about with Call of Duty, also frustrating sometimes. Then we can talk about the Diamatti zone. Nerf the Diamatti? No, Diamatti didn't get nerfed in any significant way. The hipfire got wider and the range is lower, but the damage is unchanged at 50 a pop in a 3-shot burst weapon, which means you can still deal about 300 damage if you just pull both triggers twice. The Akimbo Diamatti will still one burst you into the ground almost instantly. It may not be able to do so consistently at a lot of ranges, but up close it still outperforms shotguns in my opinion. I use these over shotguns because I don't even need overkill to pull them out of a loadout drop. They're just regular pistols that I can equip, and even the single Diamatti that I pick up off the ground outperforms SMGs in some situations, especially if I'm going to corner peek and burst and slide back over. It can pump out a lot of damage and 2 bursts to anybody, regardless of how much armor they have, which is just insane in my opinion. So we have a gun that instead of like the DMR at long range, just nukes people at close range. Even with the hipfire nerf, I'm still nuking people with it and getting nuked by it, and people are loading stopping power rounds into it. I guess they're going to hunt juggernauts with that or something. And it's ridiculous. Between this and the DMR, I feel like every match of Call of Duty Warzone is hardcore Warzone. It feels like realism Warzone, and it's not very fun to play. Moving along, the MAC-10 is also bugged along with really a lot of other weapons. Now, the MAC-10 is really strong at the moment. I do use the MAC-10 over Diamattis for late game because I can ADS with it and it's somewhat more consistent. And I don't know if it needs a nerf as bad as those other two weapons. It could definitely use a looking at. The problem is that the developers decided to nerf the headshot damage of the MAC-10 and scale it back down to 30 from 40, which, you know, makes sense. It makes it a little bit more, a little bit less nukey, a little bit less reliable in a lot of cases. But for some reason, the nerf only applied to the base version of the gun. Most of the blueprints still retain the old damage and just delete people. So if you buy the blueprints or max out the battle pass, you can use the weapon and you can't change the attachments, but you still get the old extra headshot damage so that you can just destroy people, which is what I do. I just use the blueprint MAC-10, not because I think it has the best attachments, but just because I know that it's bugged and it deals extra damage. And I know that that bug is unintentional. I know that something went screwy between when they were updating the weapons and all the different little SKUs and stores and how they're all different classifications of stuff and blueprints. And, you know, something went screwy. That wasn't on purpose, but it's still very bad and still pushes the game closer to being pay to win than anything that I would like to play. The Cold War weapon integrations in general are very poorly done. We got no perks, no equipment, and no specialist abilities, which is an absolute shame. I thought I was going to get some of the very unique Cold War perks or tomahawks. My god, I was excited about tomahawks, or maybe some of the specialist abilities like the different kinds of trophy systems or jammers or radars or something like that. We didn't get any of that stuff. We got no motorcycles, no jet skis, no ATVs. Some of the light vehicles could have been super fun. I'm collecting skins for those. I have like bright neon skins for my motorcycles that I would love to move around the map on. And you can shoot, you can like hip fire these things and drive by people. That'd be beautiful for Warzone, but we don't have any of that. Instead, we got all of the Black Ops Cold War weapons, and pretty much all of them are bugged, but each one in a different way. Yes, we talked about the big three up top, the DMR, the MAC-10, and the Diamattis. They're broken in a way that makes them overpowered and unfun to play against, yet the majority of the other weapons are actually so weak, there's no reason to use them in Warzone. I pick them up from ground loot primarily when I'm desperate and don't fool with them for any other reason whatsoever. Most of the weapons in the game, including the ones that are good, have reload glitches where you can't reload the weapon normally, and I'm not even talking about the animation and the time is out of sync and you sprint cancel at the wrong time. I mean, sometimes you just put the bullets in and it's like, okay, I'm like, oh, now I got to do it again, and you got to reload like 2 or 3 times just to get the gun to function, which gets you killed. It pulls you out of your immersion and just doesn't feel very good. They have glitches with their optical attachments, both rendering on the scope. They look radically different than they do in Cold War, so I have to expect different stuff. And some of them do or don't have glare when they should or should not, depending on the weapon. Sniper rifles in particular, a lot of the scopes don't have any glare, which can make them overpowered. The bullet velocities were clearly not tuned and designed for Warzone, and they generally fall into categories of either useless or overpowered, and that's not really where you want your weapons to be. You need to have something in the middle. But the most frustrating thing for me about the weapons integration is that the attachments are super random. It's like a blind lottery. Basically, no attachment on any Warzone Black Ops Cold War weapon does anything close to what the menu says it does. If your weapon says it decreases recoil, it probably increases run speed. If your weapon says it increases damage, it might decrease your bullet velocity for all we know. It's completely random. I've been watching a lot of JGod videos because of all the content creators, him and True Game Data are digging like really deep into this to kind of learn what's going on. And every day they're finding new stuff. Suppressors, for example, suppressors and muzzle attachments are different from Black Ops Cold War than they are in Warzone. Not only in that their concealment variables are different, but also their recoil and bullet velocity barrels are very different, including some attachments that are effectively identical to the monolithic suppressor, but labeled entirely differently. They mostly seem to be similar to existing attachments on Modern Warfare 19 weapons, Like, the developers didn't want to truly balance or integrate all these attachments, so they tried to find analogs to a previous game and just make them do similar things. But then other ones are just totally random and not analogous to anything, and this is true for all of the attachments. All of the barrels do things that the stats say that they shouldn't. Titanium barrel is supposed to decrease your range, increases your bullet velocity. The flashlights don't even work, to the best of my knowledge, in Warzone. Optical attachments are a big mess. We already talked about those. They have rendering bugs, glint bugs, among other things. The foregrips do such goofy thing. Like, like a day or two ago, what is it, True Game Data or JGod found out that the bruiser foregrip, which is supposed to be for melee, actually gives you less recoil than the foregrip that's supposed to reduce your recoil, but that one actually increases it. The grips or wraps, the handle attachments don't seem to work at all. Like, they do actually nothing for some weapons. Stocks have very random performances, changing your ADS time, your recoil, how fast you can strafe, and they don't match up to what's written there, and they don't even match up to other similar attachments in Modern Warfare 19, and we don't even have gun perks on these. So gun perks from Modern Warfare 19 can't be applied to these weapons in Warzone because I don't know. And yet, throughout all of this, all these videos and stuff, I still cannot figure out what's really going on with most of my weapons. Amongst the YouTubers that I know, JGod and True Game Data have been going super hard at this because it's their job too. It's their job to break down these weapons and learn about stuff in the same way that mine is. I'm focusing a little bit more on Cold War right now because Warzone's so frustrating to play, but every single day they're finding new broken stuff. The list isn't complete, it just grows. And this system kind of makes me feel like I'm playing blind. I'm using weapons that I don't know what they do. I'm putting attachments on there that do the exact opposite of what they're supposed to do. And it's very confusing, and this should be embarrassing for a billion-dollar game to play so poorly, to have an integration so poorly that it's pushing people away from the game and confusing them. And if you want to talk about poorly, let's talk about the real current state of Warzone. Let's talk about cheating. Warzone has been out for 8 or maybe 9 months now. I've kind of lost track, and hackers are no less prevalent today than when they first launched, if not more so. I run into a few people that I suspect of hacking every single night. Some of them are obvious, but for the most part, people are running soft hacks now where they can see you through the wall and just kind of gently help their aim and reveal the whole map and goofy things like that. Not as many of the very blatant, obvious aimbot hackers. The biggest game that Activision has in its entire portfolio, as far as I'm aware, is Call of Duty Warzone. It is the one that influences their stock price more than anything. It is their most profitable game, their game with the highest player base, and yet after being on the market for nearly a year now, there is no anti-cheat, or at least no anti-cheat that does anything useful. There's still hackers and cheaters every single day. They seem to just get banned based on reports or sometimes algorithmically. I had a fan reach out to me because he got permanently banned from his entire Activision everything, all COD games or whatever, because he was sharing an account with his disabled brother. He was like a super sweat. His brother has muscular dystrophy, but they share the same account. So when they play, his brother will log in at college and he'll log in at home or whatever, and their stats are so different, they actually permanently banned the account for cheating. And that's just too bad. I've had friends that are really sweaty and competitive and aim incredibly well get banned for cheating because their accuracy is too high. Yet some dude in China or Russia that's just beaming me and like through walls and stuff either will get banned and come right back that day or just not get banned at all. I saw people stream on Twitch blatantly cheating for months before anything happened. And what sucks about this is the same thing I've been complaining about, the same opinion I've had, and the same issue since July. Ladies and gentlemen, that was 6 months ago. If you want to go on my channel and dig back, I made videos nearly identical to this 6 months ago, and nothing has changed at all. So why does the biggest, maybe not the biggest, but one of the biggest games in the world right now have no anti-cheat? What's going on here? Is it really that expensive? Can we just hire Gaben to put the standard Steam one on there? And that's just the in-game cheats. We have to talk about the matchmaking cheats now too. I'm partly to blame for this because I kind of blew the lid off of something that was happening somewhat secretly about the bot lobbies. There is a way to get yourself guaranteed bot lobbies in Warzone, and by bots I don't mean AI, I just mean really bad players. Players know better than like recruit bots. Just people that are new to the game, maybe handicapped, maybe they never played a shooter before, maybe they're ultra casual, they only play when they're drunk or high or something, you know, just really easy opponents. When researching this, I was able to find out how to get bot lobbies, and I turned that evidence over to Activision hoping that they'll fix it. And then later throughout the week, I would find that other people appear to be doing my method or maybe other methods to get bot lobbies for content. Big streamers, small streamers, more small than big in most cases. But there's evidence that people are using this to cheat in $100,000 tournaments, to get world records just when they stream, whatever. And apparently it's been going on for a long time too. I just kind of stumbled upon it. I assume that Activision is working on a fix. I don't know that, but even in fixing it, they would be forced to recognize skill-based matchmaking, which is something they don't like to do at all. And it makes me mad because it's not fair to me to watch top 0.1% KD streamers, former CSGO pro ultra gamers that I could not beat one time in 100 in a one-on-one, people that have skills far beyond mine, that are awesome, are being rewarded with 0.7 KD average lobbies, bot lobbies filled with about 2/3 of the players having no idea what's going on in the game whatsoever, while my mediocre content creator, over-the-hill gamer self that is still learning how to aim with mouse and keyboard is getting stuck in top 5% competitive diamond ranked lobbies where everybody has a 1.5 KD or higher, and I have to treat every single squad encounter like it's COD champs. That's not fun. Why is it that people that are far better than me are getting far easier lobbies? Something is like almost backwards with the skill matching right now. And then after I made my video about this, exposing that it can be done and kind of shining a little bit of light on it, I've seen even more creative cheats than ever before because people started revealing what they knew or what they had been doing, or just trying to learn how to game the system more, because basically Warzone right now is this big game of trying to abuse skill-based matchmaking in some way. I've seen people do it with various regions, times of day, joining the worst person in the lobby, having bad accounts with you to drag you down and then log out, input device cheats, which we'll talk in a little bit, mixed lobbies between console and PC, various loadout selections apparently make it easier, tanking your stats on other COD games to drag it down is something that I see people trying. I don't actually know if that works or not. And then you've got the good old Cronus Max for these input devices that allows console players to use mouse and keyboard yet still be matched primarily against people that are using controllers, because the Cronus Max looks like a controller, thus making their lobbies easier. And everybody that I know, even genuinely good people, well-meaning people that don't like to cheat, a lot of content creators out there asking me about it, just want to know how to cheat, not because they want to go break a world record or smash bad kids, but they're stuck in the same boat that I am, that they're playing super competitive, difficult enemies that make it hard to make content with, and they just want to play normal lobbies. They just want to go back down and play what the pros are playing, which is apparently smashing the bad kids, and this is ridiculous. Why is that? Why is gaming the matchmaking system the central focus of Warzone right now? Then on top of all of that, we have the usual kind of bugs and performance issues. There's always going to be new bugs, there's always going to be little issues, but there's just more bugs over time. And I built a brand new PC from scratch so that I could play Black Ops Cold War more effectively, yet my new PC is pretty beefcake, right? Yet optimization on Warzone is getting worse with every patch, to the point where my PC feels like it's on life support when I try to play the game. I, as a content creator, have the luxury of buying expensive things. I have a 3090 graphics card, right? And I can expense all of this as a tax deduction. You can't really get many better PCs than what I'm doing, than what I have. And yet the optimization keeps getting worse with every patch. So yeah, we're getting near the end of the video. If it's not obvious, the state of Warzone is terrible right now. The state of Warzone is worse off than it has ever been. Even the alpha that I played was in better shape than this, and I don't understand why. Why is Activision treating its crown jewel so poorly? It's like Warzone is Harry Potter and Activision is his muggle family that keeps him trapped in the closet and doesn't feed him and treats him like dirt. That's kind of how I feel like Activision is treating Warzone, when this is the mode that they should be pumping the absolute most support into, because it has to be making the most money, right? It doesn't make any sense otherwise. I have no idea what's going on behind the scenes. Like, if there were 20 people playing Warzone every day, I'd be like, well, no, we're not going to put millions of dollars into that. But there's, what, 20 million people a month, bajillion people? It's like a top 5 game in the world as far as I'm aware. And it makes me sad. It genuinely makes me sad. I said in the beginning of this video that I like Warzone and I care, because I've had more fun with Warzone than any Call of Duty game since Black Ops 3. I've had more fun with Warzone than maybe any Call of Duty game ever. You can see it in my channel over the course of 2020, how long I played, how long I streamed, even when my back was in extreme pain, I enjoyed it. How many videos I posted, how many guides I was doing, how much I wanted to be at the forefront of everything Warzone, and I was even just posting fun content. Guys, I'm a guide channel, mostly like serious analytics and of course complaints and stuff, but I was legitimately posting highlight videos of my favorite games, of playing with my friends and doing fun things, and like the Armored Royale, and you, the audience, actually enjoyed them, which is something rare for me. Most people don't care when I do a live highlight because that's not what I'm known for, right? But it was so fun that even the audience could recognize that it was fun. You know, I know the map changes are small. We didn't get a giant change, just some a little underwhelming, but the base gameplay improvements have all been great for the game. The new items, the zip lines, the new areas, a lot of fun things you can pick up, a lot of Easter eggs to do, codes to memorize, Easter eggs, ARGs, all that kind of stuff. Warzone was the highlight of 2020 for me. It was the best thing I had going on. It's something that I would like to return to. Honestly, I would rather play 2020 Warzone than what I've got right here now today. So I don't know why Raven or Activision or Treyarch or whoever's in charge of this project these days is just seemingly choosing to neglect the game. If this is the most important thing in their portfolio, why don't they seem to care more about it? It seems to be like, they're COD gamers, they'll just play it anyway, just let it die. I feel like Warzone is about to hit a state of massive decline and death if we don't fix some of these major problems. Right now, the number one thing we need to do is fix the cheating, both matchmaking and regular cheating with hacks and stuff. Then we need to kind of almost undo or redo the entire Black Ops Cold War integration, because that's totally screwed up. Then we can worry about improving the game. I don't need new content. I don't need new guns. I don't need new maps. I don't need you to add a new building and do a whole ARG hype thing about it. I need the base gameplay to be more functional so that I can enjoy it like a normal human being instead of worrying about weird bugs and how to game the system. Whew. That was a lot. Kind of felt like I was unloading on you guys, but that's it for me. I hope that you enjoyed this rant video. I hope you enjoyed my opinions. And if you did, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Drifter out.